Good morning, you all. It is Monday morning at 11 o'clock. I'm CJ Peterson, co-host of Book World with my other co-host, Mr. Michael Scott Clifton down there. And we have Kristine Hall, and yes, I actually did it right this time, from Lone Star Literary Life today. And we're going to be talking about what it is and how it helps. But before then, Mike, you had a Comic-Con this weekend. How did it go?
It was pretty good. The Dallas All Con, they had it at the Lincoln Center. We talked a little bit before the broadcast start. Uh, traffic has a lot to do with the pulse of life around events that happen in Dallas. And Saturday and Sunday were pretty good. And it's a fantastic facility at the Lincoln Center. And they did a great job. Got to meet a lot of people from as far
Good.
away as Rhode Island. So it was awesome.
Wow. Awesome. Well, mine actually is doing okay. And we had our trunk or treat at church yesterday. So I got to see all the little kiddos in their costumes, and it was really fun. And before we were talking, I also happened to mention that I have been off caffeine now for 2 weeks. And as of Saturday, I'm completely off of soda, and no one has died, especially my super hubby. So everybody can I know. He's still alive, he's still doing good, he's still, every once in a while, he's like, "Just woosah," you know? I'm just like, "It's okay. We will get through this, I promise you." And we're heading on vacation here soon, so I'm super excited for that. I just have to get there. I do have something really cool to announce. On Thursday night, November 4th, we're having a massive book launch for Texas Sisters Press. It's for an anthology, which includes 10 authors total. And that's at 6 o'clock. We have tons. Each author is doing a giveaway as well, which I have been sending out throughout the course of the last week. So each author is doing a giveaway, and there is a massive grand prize that I promise you will have a little something for everybody in the family. So it's gonna be big, and it's gonna be awesome. And it's always fun. Last year we sang some Christmas carols completely off tune, but it was fun regardless. So, like I said, that's on November 6th or November 4th at 6 o'clock Central Time. We will be on Facebook. We'll be on my YouTube channel. That's also somewhat connected to Broke World. And we'll be on my Twitch channel. So make sure to follow that. You can go to Texas Sisters Press Facebook page and check out the events, or just go there at 6 o'clock Central Time on Thursday night. Fun times. Well, Miss Kristine Hall, thank you for coming on. We've talked before that we've kind of met off and on throughout the last few years, and Mike has known you for the last several. Can you explain, first of all, who you are, and then what Lone Star Literary Life is?
Well, the who I am, that's kind of deep. We talked about the Monday thing, and
Mondays
it's not
doesn't
noon
work.
yet, so I am still caffeinating. Not to rub that in your face, CJ. I am. I'm a book person. I have always been a book person. I reinvent myself. I say, every 10 years. So I'm due for another one pretty soon. But I've always had books in the background. Education wise, I was a French and English major, and then I parlayed that into teaching, and then I parlayed that into getting my librarian certification when I was 40, and then that's how I hooked up with the ladies that started Lone Star Literary Life. That's Kay Ellington and Barbara Brannon in 2015. They hired me as a blogger. So I was a blogger for them initially, and then that parlayed into in 2016 they hired me to be their book blog tour coordinator. And then a couple years later they're both in the newspaper business with real print newspapers, and they decided to go that direction primarily and sold me the business, and here I am today.
Well, you've just actually opened up a whole ton of questions in that. First of all, I had no idea librarians had to have a certification. What is that?
Yeah, and it's a great thing. Actually, in Texas, school librarians have to have a master's degree.
Really?
Yeah, we actually have we have a longer. I say we. I haven't been in the library as a school librarian in a little while, but you have a longer school year because the library's open through the summer for summer school and that kind of thing. And you have more continuing education hours than even classroom teachers do. It's a lot. But yeah, it's a requirement in Texas that you have your master's degree. And there's some different variations of it. Mine's a master's in library science from Sam Houston State.
Gotcha. Well, on Book World, we like to also educate people. So, can you explain what a book blog tour is?
I can. It's really it ended up being a lifesaver as far as book promotion for a lot of people through the pandemic, because what we've been doing for years is virtual book promotion. And like Mike has done quite a few with us for the author. Everything is done from wherever they have their Wi-Fi connection, and most of the work is done ahead of time. But a book blog tour is simply an author takes his or her book and visits a bunch of blogs. And by visits, I say a bunch of blogs, book bloggers feature their book. And, different book tour companies do it different ways, but we do 1 or 2 posts a day on a different blog every day for usually 10 days or so, and feature that book either with a book review or a special feature from the author, like an interview, or maybe we do an excerpt from the book, or maybe the author has a playlist that they listened to while they were writing the book, or maybe a character has a playlist, those kind of things. We just give the book in a virtual, environment, publicity, and get those covers out there so our readers are, familiar and start to recognize that cover out in the world. And hopefully it gets them lots of sales and lots of followers. And it's all done, virtually though. So the author doesn't have to go anywhere. And it's not tied to any certain time of the day, because that's just always out there.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there a requirement to be one of your bloggers?
Yes, we stick with that whole theme of the Texas connection. We have Texas-based book bloggers or Texas-born book bloggers, because, and I've thought about expanding that as well, but I have heard from enough of our authors, since we do Texas Connected books and Texas Connected authors, that they enjoy that our team knows the Texas thing, knows, if they're talking about you have more of a personal take on some of these books that are set in Texas or have Texas characters. They they're not just talking about, wow, what that author nailed, the world building of what it's like in coastal Texas. Our bloggers know coastal Texas because they live there or they've spent their summers there. So it's just a little bit of a different thing there. But as far as requirements, we just, I need the bloggers to have that. That's my first one. But I also need them to have, we have a really educated and professional group of bloggers. They have to be able to write a good review. They have to mind their P's and Q's. My grammar police badge is behind me. I'm not big on typos. But I also want, I want our authors to, anybody can do a book summary, and we don't need to do book summaries. We need well-written reviews. We need professionals. And all of the bloggers are book people. Some of them are published authors themselves. Some of them are editors. We have retired and active librarians and educators, but also some that don't have that kind of direct connection at all. I've got several that are veterans, but they're bookish people, and they know how to write and they know how to evaluate a book. And, so that's it.
Do they have to have a certain level of following?
I like to see that, but sometimes I have given, a chance that are just trying to get established, because we help them too. There's the bloggers get a whole lot of traffic if they're part of the Lone Star blogger team. So, I have taken that chance over the years, and it's almost always paid off. But yeah, we like the following because it doesn't, a lot of the blog tours that are out there, promise 100 different blogs are going to feature your book, which is great, unless, 82 of those bloggers don't have any following or presence anywhere. So And most of ours do. We have pretty good reach.
Right.
So, as from the reader perspective, um, is there like a certain amount of reviews that those bloggers have done prior to being on your blog tour or anything like that?
You know,
Do you know what I mean?
I don't even know that I've ever even asked that. I kind of when I find a blogger, or they contact me and want to join the team, I just kind of do my my super sleuthing, and I look at the reviews they've written and where I can find those reviews, and go from there. But no, there isn't a requirement like that.
Okay.
And I can attest, having done a number of blog tours on Lone Star Literary Life,
Thank
that
you.
yeah, they are, uh, they're very good. And if they weren't, I wouldn't have gone back to the well, so to speak, several times. But one of the things too that I discovered, I think it was this year, Kristine, is that y'all don't just do uh, ebook or paperback blog tours or reviews, but you also do those for audiobooks.
Hmm. That's good to
So,
know.
We're growing on that. There aren't as many bloggers. Some of them just can't do audio because they just can't multitask that way. So I don't have. I'd say maybe out of that, we have about 35 bloggers in the group right now, and I would say there's probably 10 maybe that are real comfortable with an audiobook, and how you would write a review, because those are just a little bit different. But yeah, we've been real happy to feature some books that we've done some audio book only tours. And then we've had when lately a lot of authors will say, hey, my book's on audio. Could we just slip one or two reviews in the mix? And that works out fabulous. So
right,
fabulously. So yes.
Now, do they just put their review on their blog, or do they put it like on Amazon and Goodreads and
No,
Barnes and
I've
Noble?
got a requirement. The reviews go on the blog, but they also need to go on Goodreads, and then they all submit those reviews to the Amazon gods.
Mhm.
We are very fortunate, and I don't
Sprinkle
want to
holy water and pray that they go on.
oh, the sacrifices have been made. We
A little
are
bit of blood and it goes on there for
Yeah,
sure.
it's seriously. I mean, and it gets trickier all the time. But we're our group is pretty good. We have a pretty good return on that. It's very very infrequent that somebody's gets flat out rejected, or just it goes into the Ethernet, and is never heard from again. Although to address that, I did have one on the blogger team told us yesterday, and she's actually an Amazon influencer,
Mhm.
and they blocked her from reviewing and deleted all of her reviews that she's been reviewing way longer than she's been on the team, and I think she's been on the team 5 years, probably pretty much the whole Lone Star time, and without explanation. And that just
wow.
happened to her 2 days ago. So of course she's having a meltdown, but and we just you just don't know why. And so those kind of things happen.
Hmm.
I
But
mean,
yeah, we try and get those.
I've had legit reviews taken down for some odd and
Yeah.
unknown reasons. Like,
They
I
just
know it's
don't.
there.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I've had
I've
them.
had that too. It's it really is. It's the we're all at the whim of the bots, because
Yeah.
I have too. I just some of them just get rejected.
I've had
Sorry,
them
you broke a
reject.
rule.
Yeah, I've had them rejected because supposedly they follow me, and I'm like, isn't that the point of social media?
I
Oh
know.
yeah.
Is that how that works? They follow you
Yeah.
because they like you, but you're not going to let them get reviewed because they follow me?
Well, and I've got an audio review that I wrote, and I actually just bought the book. I bought the audio book. I listened to it. I wrote the review, and it's just been sitting there for 3 weeks. They don't release it. They don't, And I
Hmm.
go and check, and it says, "Oh, you bought this book. Would you like to review it?" You click the review. My review's fully sitting there, but they won't push it through. So
Wow.
it's very mysterious. But yeah, we have those are kind of the three basics on where reviews need to go. But many of our bloggers put them in other places. They use LinkedIn, they use Litzy, Library Thing, Barnes and Noble, NetGalley, wherever they can put the book,
So
their reviews, they'll put them.
So,
Good.
Kristine, on the bloggers that you have for Lone Star Literary Life, it's a question I've been dying to ask you for a long time. So,
Uh-oh.
how, so by genre, you have romance, science fiction, fantasy, mystery, thriller, etc. So do your bloggers have a specific genre they like to blog or review books through, or are they more broad based? If they look, hey, if it looks interesting, yeah, I'll give it a read and see what I can do.
I have a pretty good mix of both. And one thing that the librarian in me loves is I've had several bloggers that come to the group that are very like, I really only like to read a romance, or I
Hmm.
really only like to read historical fiction or whatever. And excuse me, some of the book descriptions are alluring enough that they're like,
Hmm.
could I try it? I'm like, sure, you can try it. And so I've gotten most of our group, I'm going to say all of our group definitely reads outside of the box now. And their blogs have grown and expanded, and they've grown and expanded their following because now, the one that used to really only do books for young readers is now sometimes doing a sci-fi book or an adult, Christian adult romance, and so it's fun. But no, I try to avoid having any of the bloggers in the group that just do one thing.
Hmm.
In a perfect world, and that's part of the reason I only have 35 bloggers, is it's a very carefully curated group, but I also
Hmm.
kind of have these standards that it's hard to find, and I'm always looking for more bloggers. And so if you are watching this and you are a book blogger, I hope I haven't scared you off and sound intimidating that I'm too hard to work with, which maybe I am, but let me know, because I really am always looking to expand our blogger group.
Now I have two questions actually that have come out of that.
I'm sorry,
Um,
there's only one allowed.
sorry, it's my show. Mine and Mike's.
Dang.
Sorry. A couple questions. The first one is about how many blogs does one appear on, and is it over the course of 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? What's the duration?
Okay, so how many blogs does any one book?
Hmm.
It depends on what the author chooses to do.
Hmm.
So we have 1 day book blitzes. We just, as a matter of fact, just had one, which I think was hilarious. It was on Friday. So it was on October 29th, going into Halloween weekend. And it's a Christmas book. It's Christmas romance novellas. So we did a 1 day book blitz, and that one was on 22 blogs
Hmm.
because 22 bloggers wanted to do that blitz. But if you sign up for example, we have just a 10 stop basic blog tour. That's going to be 10 blogs,
Hmm.
and then it's going to be over 10 days.
Okay.
15 stops, going to be 15 blogs over 10 days. And we have other variations. Those are going to be who is on the scheduled blog tour. However, what generally happens is other bloggers in the group glom on because they like the books. So they'll share them on their social media, or every once in a while somebody will just like throw the giveaway or the book cover up on their blog too. So those are kind of the minimum you're going to get. But it varies, and it's all up to, I try to do everything very customized
Yeah.
to what the author needs. So we're not really cookie cutter.
Cool. Now you mentioned that you're looking for bloggers. As
Yes.
an author, from my perspective, my question would be, if I was accepted as one of your bloggers, could I still do blog tours, and how does that work?
Yeah, you can. It's
Through you.
yeah, like I said, we have several published authors that are in the group right now, and I would say, didn't know there was going to be math here, so hang on a second. I'd say probably
Not
I'd
enough
say
caffeine yet.
I know. Most of them have done book blog tours with us.
Hmm.
Um,
After becoming a blogger?
yeah. Well, I've
Okay.
had it both ways actually. One of the authors, he was, he came to me. I don't even remember how he found me, or found Lone Star, but he wanted to do a blog tour and did it, and he loved it. And then he got to see the other things, and he's like, well, I do book reviews too. And I was like, come on. So, and then we did another, he wrote another book and we did another tour for him. And, sometimes it's a little scary for the co-bloggers, cause they're all on the same team and everything. You don't, you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And what if I'm a little bit critical, but like I said, it's an amazing group of bloggers. We are such a tight knit team and everyone is so supportive, and we all know how to be critical without being hurtful, and we're all it's truthful. What's one thing you get is just because you pay to have a blog tour doesn't mean we're going to lie. They are
Right.
honest. Right. It's honest reviews,
right.
But we're professional about them. They're never going to be digs at the author or it could be like, well,
Right.
I may have a different political view than came through from this book, but the writing is outstanding. There's a balance, and
Right.
and they are blogger reviews. So personal comes into it. Absolutely.
Right.
But I think our team handles that really well.
So what happens if you get an author who doesn't like the reviews that were put up in the blog tour? How does that get handled?
Well, what we do is I have a policy with the team that if they read a book and they're not going to be able to, they don't feel like they can give it 3.5 stars or better, meaning because, we're not allowed to do half stars anywhere. But meaning on Amazon or Goodreads that they would not be able to roll it up to a 4, then they talk to me first. And we talk about, well, what is it? And sometimes it'll come out, they kind of step back and they go, you know what? That's totally me and my preference. When we say, okay, you're giving it 3 stars because of this, this, and this. Is this your opinion? Or are there people out there that would think this is a 5-star book for the same reason? And, sometimes we can step back and those will be able to go forward and it'll come out okay, but sometimes they don't, and sometimes they have very legitimate reasons. It's a really poorly edited book, or it's out there. Most of the time, it's the editing that people will be like, this is ridiculous. There's 14 errors on every page. So in that case, I then talk to the author, and the author has the option of we don't push the review out at all. We push the review out without any ratings, which meaning it can't go on Amazon, but it can go on Goodreads and on their blog. Or we push the review out after the tour is over. So that is in the author's hands, because the bottom line is they are paying to have their book promoted, and it's not going to help them if somebody blasts it. So we handle that, very carefully. And so far, so good. And I think in all of the years that I've been doing this, which it's a lot for the blog tour, just since I took over as coordinator, there's been one book that all of the bloggers came to me separately and said, this is just not ready for prime time. And there's only one time that we just canceled the whole blog tour because because it also reflects on me, as owner and as on Lone Star Literary Life. If we're putting a book out there and saying, yes, y'all have to get this, and it stinks, that makes us look bad. So we're going to be honest.
Yeah. So Kristine, I've done primarily the book review tours with Lone Star Literary Life. And I know that generally you send me a very detailed list of, okay, this is when we're going to start. This is what you'll need to provide. And it's almost always a giveaway of some kind. Would you care to just sort of go over the nuts and bolts, how that works for someone who might be interested in using Lone Star Literary Life?
For an author,
Yes.
What can an author expect? Okay.
Yes.
So if an author wants the tour to be really successful, the author needs to be invested and willing to spend some time on it. And it's not time while the tour is going on. It's that what Mike was talking about, the ahead of time. I call it the bolos, the big old list of stuff that you have to send me in order for us to make the tour successful. And so there's a list of things, and then we try to work on that, 2 months, starting about 2 months ahead of when the blog tour is going to happen. And those are there's hoop jumping, but I can't make things up. I need to get the content from the authors that they want to be on the tour. The author, it behooves the author to participate once the tour is live by wherever they are on social media, sharing those posts, talking about the tour, sending it out in their newsletters, jumping on those blogs and making comments. That involvement will take a tour to the next level as well. What else did you ask, Mike?
And on giveaways generally are another way to promote the tour, to get more people interested and involved, that follow the blogs and
Right.
bloggers.
I encourage the authors to do some sort of giveaway, give away a copy of your book. Some people go huge and do these amazing big packages. We just had a blogger, an author who gave away an overnight at a B&B out in the hill country. It was
Good
really
heavens.
cool because it tied in with what her book was about, and that was really cool. But also, we have people that just give away copies of their books, and that's great too, because we love books. But I encourage the authors to do that, simply because it is I use Rafflecopter as the the platform, and you can use that to build. The author can build their following and their newsletter subscriber list, and it's in the tweet about the book. Oh my gosh, you have these multipliers, all of these ways that you can get that book, the reach out there even farther, increase your following, increase your fans. People that add that book to their Goodreads shelf, everybody that is on friends with them on Goodreads sees that book on your shelf. So I'm all about the amplifying, like, what can we do to amplify as much as possible for free? Adding the book to your Amazon wish list. If it hasn't come out yet, you're going to get an email, whoever does that. So if we have that as an entry option for someone to add your book to their wish list, or to add it on their Goodreads shelf, or to tweet about it, it's just continues to get publicity.
So there's several ways that a person can qualify for the giveaway. And one is to be subscribe to your newsletter. Another is to follow you. What are some other methods as well? Because I didn't really realize the importance of that until after I'd done a couple of the blog tours. So I found that as an author pretty important.
One of the things we do, because the laws on I think they call them sweepstakes laws, are they're a little wiggly. And so we don't get in trouble. We always have one free, no strings attached, just take this entry. And if somebody wins from that, they didn't have to do a single thing. They didn't have to put their email anywhere. So there's always that. But then it's up to the author. I always ask, where are you trying to build your following? Like, if you just started an Instagram page, then we might put that as you get 2 entries if you follow this author on Instagram, or follow them whatever social media platform they're on. Like I said, adding the book to Goodreads, adding the book to your BookBub wish list, following the author on Amazon. It's whatever you want. Right. There are some authors that are not on social media hardly at all. So for them, we'll do things like, yeah, I know, and shake the head. But one caveat.
I'm a social media person for our publishing company, and I just cringe when an author tells me, I'm like, that's free advertising.
It's free.
I get it. You don't have to agree with the standards of like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but it's free advertising, and you're cutting yourself at the ankle.
Well, and you have to be somewhere. That's what I tell everyone. You don't have to be everywhere, and you certainly don't want to be on every platform if you are not making an appearance there. So it doesn't matter if Mike has an Instagram account and he never posts anything there, then you might as well not have one. You just need to be where your readers are, and then then build from that.
So how do you track that?
How do I track?
Well, like for signing up for a newsletter or following up on Twitter or whatever. How do you track that?
Good old Rafflecopter tracks that. I don't have to. What you get when you do a blog tour is we'll do the administration of it, is what I say. So I'll set the Rafflecopter up. I'll pay attention to it. I'll get all of the statistics from it when the giveaway is over, and I will compile here's the first 3 names that were drawn, or however many, and give that to you. But Rafflecopter will tell you had 1,000 entries. 45 of them followed you on Twitter, 110 signed up for your newsletter. And so you as the author, I can't see that if they're valid, but you as the author can see if you had 110. Or it could be, you might already have people that are subscribed to your newsletter. So those would be in that 110 too, because if they already subscribe, they get the entry. So you know what I mean? It's not an exact science, but it's pretty good. And Mike, you can probably attest to that, the feedback you get from that.
Right. It's exactly the way you described. You can see how many new followers you have on whatever social media platform they, subscribe to, or subscribers to your newsletter. And of course, you get to see how many people signed up for your, for the giveaway, for your book, to take for a chance to win a free copy. So I didn't really fully appreciate that until after. I'm kind of slow, Kristine. Sometimes I'm catching up. Didn't really appreciate that till after the first one, or I've done a couple. I didn't really take advantage of that because I don't know, my mind was off somewhere else. But I thought that was awesome, and that's why I thought it's something. If in my stumbling way I didn't realize, I think that's very important for authors, because you get benefits past. Once the blogger is over, you get those benefits past, the tour when it's over. So
right.
And I have one last question, because
I was going to say we're at the 30 minutes.
So if an author wants to do a blog tour, there is a lead time. They have to actually ask you for this. So what is that lead time?
Yeah, as far in advance as you can schedule it. I can always just pencil a date, and Mike, you're the king. You are the king of pencil the dates. Bow down to the king, because he'll be like, yeah, I'm finishing a book and it's probably going to be in the fall. And I was like, let's just pencil something for October. And then October, we move it out. Well, maybe we move it. And then sometimes he's like, well, it's done. And I'm like, but as much notice as you can give me. But I would say, like, right now we're pretty much we're scheduling several months in advance. I'm taking a break in January. We're not going to have any blog tours in January. I've never done this before, but we're booking late February and March right now. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's huge. Okay. That's awesome, though. So to get a hold of you, did they just go to Lone Star Literary Life?
Yeah, on the contact page, my email is there if they want to directly email me, or they can, events or we've got several email. The addresses are there. And one thing authors need to remember about Lone Star is how much, if you have a book coming out, a forthcoming title, let us know in advance, because we have all kinds of free things we do for authors when a book is coming. We also have free things that we can do when you are doing your online and in-person book events, which is like, CJ, I wrote down your the Texas Sisters thing. I don't think I have that on the events calendar, but we have all kinds of
you need
things.
To follow Texas Sisters Press on Facebook.
Well, that's the thing. There's like 1,000 people. Mm-hmm. I can't find them. I need people to tell me, and then we can get them in there. And that's, what I see. I'm constantly sending the worker bees and like the helper bees for Lone Star, like add this to events. But we really need people to send them to us, because we just miss too much.
So as a reader, how do they follow the different blogs, or how do they know where the blogs are going to be?
For the blog tours? Mm-hmm. There's a schedule, and it is up. Every blog tour has its dedicated permanent page on Lone Star Literary Life. And so you can just go to the page. That blog tour is there. The individual blogs participating is there. As those go live, we get direct links, so that a year from now, you can still click those and go straight to that blog post on that tour, instead of having to scroll and find it. So
very nice.
We make it pretty easy.
Well, thank you so much, Kristine. We are now over time. But thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for sharing about Lone Star Literary Life and how it benefits both the authors and the readers.
Well, I appreciate y'all asking me the questions.
Well,
is
I know
awesome.
that we will not be on next week, so please take note of that. We will not be on next week, but we will be on the following week. And I don't remember. I think we're doing book reviews.
We are.
Okay, we're doing more
Yep.
book reviews on the 15th. Is that the date?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, I'm guessing. So on the 15th, Monday the 15th, we will be back for book review day. So make sure to check it out, 11 o'clock on Monday the 15th. And also remember that as of January, we're moving to Wednesdays at 11 due to a scheduling conflict. So until then, enjoy the book world, find yourself a book, and get in a